filed this end off a little bit already. I kind of want to file it again now, just that I've worked that little divot into it. I wanted these ends to curve in a touch, and I achieved that. On the other hand, it's one of those awkward things, as I kind of don't want to really worry too much about what the end of that looks like, as I'm about to really mangle the whole thing. My thought process is, if I lay this down, kind of lock it in place, heat this up, set it here, and essentially pound down on top of it, it will pound down around the tang, so it will basically wrap around it a little bit. Part of the reason why I left the tang all weird shaped on the end was to give it a little, I guess, torsion resistance. So that actually doesn't make any sense, because the whole thing will have torsion resistance, and I could just chop that off and make my life easier. Well, since I put it that way, I think I might. Crap. Get this heating up. Whoop. Damn it. Off to a great start here. Though it actually kind of almost seems to be working-ish. Huh. Oh my god, is this actually going to work? That would be so freaking cool. Okay, step one, brush the heck out of that before trying to do this. Yeah, wow, that's all cocked up, isn't it? Much like a hammer, if first you don't succeed, try a bigger brush. This project has become sort of a happiness sink, I guess you could say. I've been so not looking forward to this step and trying to figure out how to make it work and if it's going to work, and feeling that there are so many smarter and better ways, and if I wasn't so mule stubborn, I'd try one of the other different, smarter, better ways of doing it. Like, I could take a chunk of that walnut I have, this already has holes in it, I could just boop boop, have that hooked onto it, give a slight bend. It could be done probably before the end of my day today, and I started late. One, that's making a mess. Two, I forgot to scrub that as I said I was going to. And three, my holdfast is getting in my way. But here I am trying to stick to the initial plan and do things as weird and awkward as I can. It's one of those traits that can be endearing, you know, a certain tenacity and stick-to-itiveness, so to speak. At the same time, it can be rather ugly, a little stubborn. Also, I was holding it at the wrong angle for a lot of that, so my handle is getting itself a little bit twisted. Trying to kind of bend it. I have a little nub in there that fits into that hole. Now maybe I'll just rearrange things slightly and try again. Get that to roll in my favor? Maybe. I mean, we are kind of getting a divot down here, which is the end goal, I suppose. Though that's getting a little bit out of hand. Ah, well. Well, fart. Well, that totally smashed that end. I have an idea on where to go from here. but it's going to require these to cool off a bit and do some alternate work on them. Last time we ran into a problem trying to get the tang and the handle to sit well together. For example, with them sitting roughly in place, if I pinch them and get out of the way, you can see white through it as it goes straight through. So that's a bit of a problem. And as I'm trying to pound on it to get them to sit together, they're just bouncing all over the place. So I drilled a hole. I got a collection of very small rivets because I pretty much had just about enough. And I'm going to rivet together this side. Now you might notice there's only one hole in there, whereas we have two holes in here. That goes back again to the gap between it. I figure if I can get this one end done and then hammer them together while they're being pinched by the rivet, I can get that gap out of there and then let it cool, drill my other hole, get a second rivet in, and then do the shaping to make this handle look a little less derpy, might be the polite way to put it. These rivets, just itty bitty, got about a 3/16 shaft, a little bit larger, well not much larger, but a little bit. Just enough that a 3/16 inch hole wasn't quite exactly big enough. They do have a bit of a little round head here. I'm going to figure out which divot on my rivet set that fits in case I need it or want it while I'm setting the other side down. Now, they are listed as steel with a zinc finish. That doesn't sound good. Zinc in a forge produces a toxic gas. Everything I was reading about for zinc suggests that, with galvanized anyway, if you put it in vinegar, it will bubble. So I took one of these and I dipped it in vinegar and watched it for a little while. It didn't do anything. I scratched it with a file and then put it back in the vinegar, thinking, oh, maybe if I rough it up, then it'll react a little different. It didn't do anything. Still being a little nervous, I took one of them, and it's actually in the forge outside, heating up right now. And I'm in here hoping that any gas is blowing away. And by the time I got to check it, I'm not going to get sick. If I do, I guess I'll fill you in on it, though. Oh man, I won't make you watch that. I'm not terribly compromised, you know, I don't have COPD or anything like that, so it's less likely to be lethal. But descriptions I've heard of it and the poisoning type you get do not sound nice for anyone. Whether it's going to kill you or not, you might wish it did. But to begin with, I'm going to just kind of warm up these ends, slip that rivet through, and try to set it. Try to get these to match evenly. Once that's done, I'm going to set it aside, let it cool. We drill a hole, put a second rivet in, and then we'll finally get this thing finished. I don't know about you, but this has been such a drain on me. I have to get it done. I've started it, I have to finish it. I'm really wishing I just went out and bought myself another spatula. I'm kind of wishing I would have just repurposed this piece when it broke like I did the other side and made, I don't know, a knife or something out of it. Anything out of it. I had a lot of room there, you know, I could have made all sorts of knife and used that as my, you know, tang, and it wouldn't have been like a full tang, but it would have had a pretty substantial chunk of tang. I could have done anything with it and probably been happier. But we're gonna get this finished. No more dilly-dallying, let's get to it. So these have cooled off a fair bit, sitting down here. Ah, crap. Whoop, whoop. Crap. I notice that's sure flaking a lot of crap off it. Hopefully that's just forge scale. That would probably be the way to do it, wouldn't it? Though, No, come back. Handle, come back. Okay. Crap, I'm doing this left-handed. I need more hands. Okay, straight down first. Alright, there's a button of sorts. Okay. Now that it is all sort of one unit. Well, shit. I want to get it heated up through here. Mainly try to drive it down a little bit tighter. It's actually not too terribly bad on the back for the most part right now. As I figured though, any attempts to fix it seems to just hurt it more. That looks like it's at a wonky angle. But, like I say, I'm going to heat it up more before I do all that banging on it that I just did. Heck, even if I get, well, no, if I... I have the feeling that that is shit. Yes, I have the feeling that that is shit. That's exactly what I meant to say. I think for as wonky as that is, that's as good as it's going to get. I'm going to move it to a brick, let it cool off, drill that hole, and then we'll we'll put another rivet in it, knock the handle down, clean it up, make this a little bit prettier. Probably going to, when it's all said and done and there's no more heat going to it, do my best to seal it with some epoxy, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, this part's done. Hooray! So set that in there and tap down on that. Why did I not think of that earlier? I should have sanded both of those clean. Yeah, well, so be it. They are riveted together. Now to straighten out and shape the handle a bit. And then we'll start working on the bend to get it all ready to actually be used. Why do I get the feeling I should not be doing this like I am? Probably because I should not be doing this like I am. How else would I do this? Well, obviously, use all the tools at your disposal. Using the swedge, I can force it down into here and drop all sorts of hot scale on that oil-soaked cardboard. Surely that can't cause any problems. And of course the swedge is bouncing around because it's just sitting on a cheap stool. The crows are laughing at me for doing silly things. Okay. My oh my, if it was ugly before, whoo-wee, it's even uglier now. I don't even have words really. My effort to make things better so far with the situation at least has been simply to remove the oil-soaked cardboard from underneath the block. knock stuff over with my butt. Disadvantages of being a plus-sized gentleman. So as I'm going through trying to get this to essentially roll up on itself, I come to the realization that I don't actually want that rolled up on itself, because that would be something that you can't clean easily, hence contamination risk in the kitchen. Now on for a little handle twisting and straightening and figuring out. But I probably shouldn't twist that in here too much, just because of how twisted and hideous the metal is. I was just thinking I should get that swedge block out and put a little bit of a divot in here to kind of make it squidge all together. Using my highly technical terminology, because just fullering it flat isn't going to do as much as I want it to. So every step I take down, like, okay, now I've got that bent. Oh man, now that makes the other thing look like it needs bent. Huh. I'm doing this with these in the wrong freaking spot. Why did I suddenly change which tool I went and picked it out with? Like I mostly was just twisting that further down. One side of that actually looks pretty good. The other side, not so much. This might sound weird, but I actually think I kind of like it a little bit. This part, this handle being get down where you can get to. This handle being mild steel means that I can dunk at least from here back and might be able to touch it and feel it in my hand and see if I actually like to hold it. Of course, since I can't get, most of my hand up onto it safely, very important distinction, I can't really tell you for sure. I want a bit more twist in that. Oh, this would be so much easier if I simply had a vise out here. I don't know why I'm trying to smack all that off. Especially when, in so doing, screw the whole thing all up. A little less there. If I just break that piece off, that'll give me an idea where to cut to and file to and all that. Well, it works for that. It's freaking ugly as can be. It may or may not even be comfortable in the hand, but I'm going to let this cool off, and assuming it is hand comfortable, I think I will see you next at the grinder. We will clean the heck out of this and get the spatula side a little bit thinner and a lot smoother, and hopefully perhaps even a touch flatter. So she's not actually in all that bad a spot, at least from the bottom. It's harder to tell on the top as I have a lump there. Yeah, for now, to a brick. Oh crap, I covered my brick in an oiled cardboard thing. Oh yeah, cardboard. Off we get. There we go. Okay.